This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Laura Guldemond, frontwoman of Burning Witches, with whom she shares her love for old school metal and sets stages around the world on fire. She's been with Burning Witches since 2019, and Burning Witches rebel with power heavy metal magic on the new album, Inquisition. When Burning Witches take the stage, the world trembles beneath their firestorm of heavy metal might. This is their sixth studio album, first album since The Dark Tower in 2023. I am happy to have Laura join me here on the Metal Queens podcast for the very first time. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, new album, the sixth album. Let's kick things off with the new Beast. It's darker, heavier, and fiercely thematic. What inspired this journey for you into this album?
Yeah, we always look for something that's, connects to the kind of music that we want to write. And we like this heaviness of the Dark Tower, so we wanted to continue that. And this theme, you can definitely hear it in the first song and in the introduction. Yeah, it's pretty dark, It's really about this Inquisition time. It just fitted to this kind of vibe that we wanted to put out, Um, and for people that don't know what the Inquisition is, it was a time in history where this religious group was, from the Catholic Church, right? So the
Yeah.
Inquisition was this group. They basically sought out all the people that were not, perfectly normal and were called heretics, so sinners, or maybe they didn't like your face,
Hmm.
and then you would also be, you know, questioned, and they really expected you to point out other heretics, which means that you were never safe because you always had to point at someone. So yeah,
You said from the opening
yeah.
track. The opening track is Sanguini Hominum, and immediately
Mm.
pulls you in into an eerie, ritualistic space here. Can you talk a
Mm.
little bit about creating that harrowing kind of atmosphere?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's it's indeed, yeah, the evil side of people, the evil side of church, of anything basically. Um, it's indeed, yeah, the sacrificing people to save the rest. Sometimes they would think if someone was a witch or something was cursed, that everyone was in danger, until that evil was eradicated. So it was pretty brutal. I mean, I believe some people were thinking they were doing the right thing, but in the meantime, yeah, I think most of us will think differently about it now. So, yeah, it's pretty dark. Yeah. So it's cool to have this intro. We always have an intro, but to get a little bit in the vibe, a little bit cinematic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I love Soul Eater. It's a thrash banger. It's sharp, it's aggressive, it's unrelenting. How do you balance, Laura, melody with brutality in your songwriting?
Um, I think, yeah, it's mostly a question for Romana, to be honest, because she always comes up with the song structures, with mostly, and with all the guitar lines and riffs. And I think, yeah, by now, I mean, we kind of know what we want to put on an album because we also want listeners that listen to the whole album to, not get too bored, So we have different songs on there. Yeah, and she just, knows how to make a song loud and knows how to write a ballad. And yeah, of course, I also have to do something with my vocals on that, so I know how to how to sound heavy and screechy. So for Soul Eater, that's the what we went for. But yeah, there's a little bit of everything in the end, I would say. It's not just all really heavy and dark. We also have a really happy song, High Priestess of the Night, if you
Yeah.
didn't see it already. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
that one's way more positive, and it's a little bit more about just defying all the bullshit. So all this stress and chaos, just ignore it, rise above it all, soar into the sky, and you know, be a badass and don't let it bother you, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one. That has a kind of a mystical 80s vibe to it, almost theatrical too. Is that a nod to your classic metal influences like Priest and Maiden and Dio?
Yeah, definitely a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of people say that. I mean, to be honest, I think in all our songs we have a little nod to one genre or the other that inspired us, you know.
Mm.
But that one is definitely one of the more 80s songs, I guess. A little bit more like what we also did with Dance with the Devil. Um, and yeah, also, if to be honest, probably more connected to one of the happier songs of what Dio did, you know. Um, so yeah, yeah.
And then the title track, Inquisition, such raw power in that track, Laura. What was it like recording that one? Any stories from the studio with Damir and VO Pulver?
Oh yeah. Sorry, what was the question exactly? Because they were there, but what was the question?
No, any fun stories in the studio experience there with those guys?
Oh. Yeah, well, there was one time was really funny. I like to eat something because they're long days, right? So
Mm.
sometimes I have a snack, but I don't try to not do that anymore. But I was eating some nuts, you know, and it's kind of nice because, you know, it's something that you don't get too tired after, but it gives you some energy, and I don't know, it's nice. I like nuts. So. And then I was, yeah, when I just ate, I was singing again. And then a moment later, Pulver comes into the studio to adjust it a bit. And I think I heard for over a year that I was eating nuts in the studio because he didn't really like all the pieces of nuts in the, you know, plop screen. And the other one is he doesn't really, and yeah, that's a funny one. He doesn't really clean his studio much, but because we are all girls and you know, not so many girls come in the studio, but he actually cleans the studio for us. Yeah.
Nice. Speaking
Yeah.
of the ladies, your journey as a band has seen some lineup changes. You've been with the band since 2019, but the core
Mm.
fire seems stronger than ever. Have those shifts in changes shaped your music at all? Different direction a little bit?
I think it's always subtle because yeah, Romana always comes with the first ideas, to be honest. So it's you know it's I think the change is really subtle, but you can definitely hear if you already knew Courtney, for example, you can hear it's her, right? So it's her playing
Yeah.
style. I love it. Yeah, so that's cool. And I think everyone brought something different to the album, you know. So I think yeah, with Courtney, it's I think it's cool that she you know she's playing in bands for so long. You can really hear that because she has so much nuance in the way she plays, and I love that, you know.
Yeah, I mentioned you joined in 19. The band you're
Yeah.
been in the band now 6 years.
Mhm.
You're obviously more comfortable now with this
Yeah.
band. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do you think you've evolved?
Well, you know, I always try to be a better singer, and the thing is, you know, from one album to the other, maybe the difference is not so big. But if I now listen to the first one and the last one I did, yeah, it's a huge difference. I have to admit now, yeah, there's no way around it.
Burning
Yeah.
Witches is often called the ultimate all-female heavy metal band. Your appeal is universal. How do you respond to being role models in the metal world?
Yeah, I think I almost don't realize it that I am, but yeah, you're right. So how do I respond to that? Very irresponsible, probably, because I don't always realize it. Um, yeah, but we, you know, as a band, we do think it's important to, you know, we do want to be, you know, attractive women, but we don't want to take it too far. So this has always been a thing because, yeah, before you know it, it's the focus is really more on how you look instead of on the music. So we always want to be a bit careful with it. So we do want to look cool, but you know, I mean, it's part of the band. It's a big, you know, it's you can't get around it. It's a special thing that you're all females and but it's I think it's always a bit of a balancing act, you know, that yeah, that it's not too much, you know what I mean? Yeah, because there are also artists that have yeah, the OnlyFans and stuff like that, and we want to stay away from that image.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the album is done, the sixth album. That's got to feel great.
Mm.
And now you're going out on the road. You've got US tour dates coming up. What's the plan beyond this fall and into next year for touring?
Yeah, so the plan is that yeah, I can never really tell anything about something that's not announced yet, so that's a bit difficult. But we are still working on a little bit of the replacement dates, maybe to add some dates in March for the US tour. That's postponed now. So there were a lot of delays with the visas, so sadly we had to
Yeah.
to postpone the whole first tour after the album release now. Hopefully we can get something else for later this year. But yeah, more news on that hopefully soon. I can't really tell anything. And then we have the European tour with yeah, already coming in the 6th of January, if I'm correct. We start in Milan. Yeah, and then after that, indeed USA, and after that, who knows? I mean, at some point, we would love to go more to Asia because we've been to India a few times now. We would love to go to Japan, to China, Korea, so let's see.
Do you have a favorite country or two to play in?
Ooh, yeah. I think Italians will be very bored with this answer, but I love Italy, there, people are nice, food is nice.
Yeah.
I love Italy. Usually it's better weather than where I'm from, so that's also good. And yeah, in general, all the countries that have better weather than where I'm from are nice. But I have to admit, I also like England a lot because
Yeah.
I like the humor they have there. I love that. Yeah. So
Yeah, I have a lot of Italian bands on here on the Metal Queens podcast, and they don't like playing in Italy. They don't feel the response is great. They like playing in the UK and beyond, but they always mention that, bands like yours that come in get a great response there
yeah.
from out of the country. So it's a little different. And all these European bands I'm talking to having the same issues with visas as well and delaying tours and holding off from now. So pretty common.
Yeah.
For the fans waiting for this album, what do you want them to feel and take away when they hear Inquisition?
Um. Well, I think in general, metal is giving a lot of space for all the negative things, and the negative emotions. But in the end, I think it's something that a lot of people, indeed, like I told earlier, I believe in this interview, struggle with is, finding also a sense of peace, right?
Yeah,
And of not caring about all that pressure and bullshit that you sometimes create yourself or others
yeah.
create for you, right? So I think that's the biggest takeaway in the end. Yeah.
Burning Witches, new album, Inquisition, out, burningwitches.com. Laura has a site too, lauraguldemond.com. Follow them on social and check out their music, of course, in this new album, this badass new album, wherever you stream your music. And follow them on social as well. And hopefully, we'll get to see you. This tour will happen in the US in 2026 as well. And catch a show if you're in Europe. And Laura mentioned in January if you're over there as well. Laura, thank you so much for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And
Yeah.
this is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Thanks for watching it. Like it, share it, subscribe to it.